Okay, well, we have ourselves a philosophy video today because, with the thanks of my new webcam, it makes it so unbelievably easy to make these videos now. You don't know how fucking ridiculously hard it was for me before. I had to like take it on my phone to do anything. So, anyways, it's easy to do. I can do these philosophy videos just like that and put them up, and boom, I'm live on the internet. Now, if you know about my channel, it got totally destroyed by YouTube suddenly. I got a random copyright strike against a video I did using March from Clockwork Orange, and boom, I got a copyright strike, and like my views just went boom. It just like it's just like now I think that this is a heavily suppressed channel anyways by YouTube's algorithms because I talk about very controversial shit, and I'm just a person who just fucking speaks my mind like constantly. So I can't help it. I mean, I'm that type of person. I just fucking say shit as it is. And I thought, what a perfect segue into 2025 to just talk about the insane turmoil going around the world, as everybody's sure that it went absolutely fucking mental on New Year's Eve. Now we had like the Cybertruck explosion, and that what an iconic picture I've got up in this top screen here of just the state of the world and just how chaotic everything feels. And that terrorist attack, man, in New Year's was just insane. It was just absolutely insane to see that on our phones and to be like, "Oh my God, this has happened." It just it's just a precursor to how insane that these events could become in 2025. And the only thing you can do to prepare is just not give a fuck. Like the less fuck you give, the happier you get, because obviously humanity is headed in a more chaotic path. I mean, it's so obvious that our society, this human condition of society, just is not being held together anymore. And this big interconnected world has existed for so many decades. 20 almost 20 years now, 2009, 10, that it's just like we've entered in a whole new phase of this. And nothing is more obvious than just how insane the news just keeps getting. Whether it's the war in Ukraine, or it's the bird flu, or the drones, or just all this insane shit coming at us 24/7, while we have our own personal problems to deal with every single day. It's fucking mental. And the only thing you can really do is just not care. It's like with my channel. It's like they obviously YouTube doesn't want this channel to succeed. So obvious. Like the way that they suppress your views, the way they literally seem to delete views and hamper the way your content gets out to people, it's really demoralizing. And you got to think of it that way for society, whether it's that dream job you wanted to get, or that fucking chick you really like that she seems to like everyone else. uh, Whether it's your divorce with your family, it's ripping things apart. No matter what chaos happens, the less you give a fuck, the happier you'll be. It's true. And obviously, like some things you should care about, they're important to you. But keep an eye on the important things and fuck everything else. Because ultimately, this world just wants to steal your happiness from you. And if you let shit like this, like get you down, yes, there's some turmoil in the world, but you got to just focus on your own path, man. Focus on your own happiness. That's what this existence is all about, ultimately. And I just find it funny that, just all this insanity is happening, because it is just, it's just pure madness. Every day you get an article or some shit in the fucking news that you just be like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? The insanity that goes on, it's just fucked. people are fucked. That's what you have to know. It's like every day you'll go online and you will find people who disagree with you. It's just the nature of people. This is what people do. People are assholes. People are the biggest fucking assholes online and in person too. And you just can't let it get to you because like every day you'll have people who hate you coming at you. It's like no matter who you are, no matter what you do, no matter who you are, no matter what fucking walk of life you come from, what your hobbies are, what your interests are, what your thoughts, opinions, ideas, anything you do, people are going to hate you for it. And you know, lots of people can't deal with it. They can't fucking they can't stand people who speak their mind and tell the truth. But you know that is the reality of this world, and you always get these things that come on your phone, just these stories and these people, and you know some dumb broad who's got millions of followers who's just an absolute twat. You know some scammer person who's famous. You know, it's just like our world is so complex and it's going to keep getting more and more complex and crazy. And the more you realize that going into 2025, the more you embrace it, the more you overall accept this theory and thought that humans are just, you know, I could take it or leave humans, honestly. There's some cool people. I love my some of the people who are my fans, who love my content. You know, they're awesome. But then there's some people who are just cunts. Just cunts. They are the worst of the worst, and everyone just can see it. And it's almost like some people just love to be terrible. They love to be awful, awful fucking human beings. They just love it. They can't help themselves but be a dickhead. That's just the way they are. You know, it's our society means that you have to live alongside these people. What if, as long as they're not doing anything wrong, there's nothing in the rules that says you can't be an asshole in this world. And that's our biggest problem, I think, in Western society is that people just, you know, people just hate the system and they just go along with it and live with it. You know, that's what they fucking it's the only thing they can do. And that's just the reason they are the way they are. And I think to a degree, every single human on Earth is a little different. And when you have all these differences going at each other, it's just really hard. It's really hard. And, you know, and there's so much tension between people nowadays. So much tension between people. People who are just different than one another. You know, they're whether it be different ethnicity or different cultures. Um, you know, I come from one of the most diverse places in the entire world. And, you know, there's so much tension between people who don't look like us in like each other in the day and age. Whatever you want to call it, the migrant crisis, the, you know, just this idea of Western society that peoples and from all over the world can get together under a common goal is could never work in the end. But you know what? I've seen things in my life that make me realize that it could work. You know, I had a friend who was a neighbor who was an immigrant from Pakistan who was the nicest person I've ever met in my life. He used to cook meals for us and bring them over to us just so we had food. No other reason other than to be nice. So when you see online and in the world all this tension between people who don't come from our own country, you start to realize that, man, not all people are bad. You know, that's the truth of the matter. There are some horrible people in this world, but there are some fucking amazing people in this world. And thank the Lord Almighty that it appears like there are more good people in this world than bad people. And you know what? it's something you gotta be thankful for, that there are people who are just down to earth, normal people, and they just want to be live their lives and be happy and pursue their interests, pursue their creativity. They want to just be safe and happy, and that's the only thing that they want out of life. So when you see people who just don't get along, and there's all this tension and anger between people everywhere, it's like there has to be a path forward. And I've always believed for the longest time that what's going to unite us is the same thing that united the world after World War II and World War One, is that when these huge buildups of all this negative energy come together and you get a world war and all these terrible things around the world, these terrible events happen, it unites people and it makes society better. And I truly believe another thing is that the human race is evolving towards a more peaceful being, human being. Our design is becoming more placid. We no longer have to worry about lions in our backyards and fighting for food to survive. What we have to use is our ingenuity and our thinking to get past these social, economic problems so that we can actually become a greater civilization, to ascend beyond. And our greatest challenge right now is the fact that every single human being on earth is identical and we're the human race, but our differences in our skin color and our taste in music and our uh, political opinions and our religious opinions, all these things create conflict between us, and we make the world chaotic because we can't seem to believe the fact that every single human is the same. We're all the same being. There's no uh, human people and Martian people. And the Martian people are green and their tongue licks out of their ass. Like, there's no differences between human beings, realistically speaking. And it's just a tragedy that on both sides people think negatively of each other. And it's like, that's the thing to know going into 2025, is that I think I deeply feel that chaos is coming to the world, whether it be World War III, whether it be famine or plague or something. There's something coming big. Everybody can feel it, everybody knows it. And you know, it's like it's like this fucking bird flu thing, man. It's like I recently got COVID and I thought it was just COVID, but it felt just wrong. You get all this tension online, fuck the vaccines, fuck COVID, do not comply, fuck Fauci, arrest Fauci, all this shit about diseases. And you people can run your mouths online all you want, but when you're on the receiving end of a sickness that you fear for your life, all that shit goes out the image. And they had that thing on the Reddit called the Herman Cain Award of people like mocking COVID but end up dying. Horrible thing that a subreddit was allowed to exist that way. But there's this sense that man, you could be a deep south, never wearing a mask, fuck vaccines, unvaxxed forever. You could be a person like that, but the day you get a very, very serious disease that is like can be your body can be taught how to fight these things via vaccines. It's science. It helps. It's real. Till you're on the receiving end of a disease that you are very scared of and is attacking your body and potentially hurting the things that keep you alive, man, don't don't fucking get angry about bird flu. If this thing mutates, there will be all manner of chaos into our society, and there will be fucking it will be a horrible illness that you could potentially lose your life from. And that is not something that takes it like stupidly. Like, dude, fuck the internet conspiracy theorists. Fuck all these people who are just insane about the vaccines and social distancing and stuff. You will want to stay away from some of these diseases. It's not fun. And if your body is not ready for it, it can really hurt you. So, I mean, that's my thing going into this. There's so much stigma about the pandemic. So much stigma about the pandemic. Fuck masks, fuck social distancing. These things are serious, man. And if we got something tomorrow that broke out in some country and it went all over the world because our society is so interconnected now, man, shit could really get real. I don't want to get sick like I was these last 2 weeks. I just do not ever want to get sick like this again. And it might have just been COVID. It might have been something else. It might have been a combination of bronchitis or whatever. But this was fucking mean. I could feel it attacking my body. And it really scared me. And, that's one of the things going into 2025 is that, man, be glad that we have science because science is important. Without science, there's nothing between you, me, and smallpox, which fucking devastated and killed an unbelievable amount of people who were, so embrace science, ignore crazy fucking people because there's always going to be crazy annoying people in this world. Um, live with passion and virtue, as Space Marines would have, and war. No, um, and World War Three. Does anybody actually see the tensions in the world getting better? Is everybody just gonna pack it up and say, hey, you know what? Don't want World War Three. Let's just shut her down, boys. It's fucking could happen. So 2025, live in the moment, uh, respect science, ignore people's bullshit. Best advice you'll get fucking so far this year.